Good morning, everyone. We will now begin the morning service of the Miroku Association headquarters, asking God in Meishu-sama to protect and bless us as we participate today in the construction of paradise on earth. Amatsu-Norito and Miroku Prayer. Taka amawarani kamsumarimasu. Kamurogi kamurogi no mikoto mochite. Sumemi oya kamu izanagi no mikoto. Tsukushi no himuka no tachibana no odo no agi hanagi misogi harai tamo toki ni harimaseru. Araido no okami tachi moro moro no magagoto tsumike gare o. Arai tamae kiyome tamae tomao sukoto no yoshio. Amatsu kami kunitsu kami yaoyoro suno kami tachi tomoni. Ame no fuji koma no mimi furita tete. Kikoshin meseto kashiko mi no maosu. Miroku o mikami mamori tamae saki hae tamae. Miroku o mikami mamori hae tamae. Anushi no kami mamori tamae tamae. Oshi e mi no kami mamori tamae saki hae tamae. Kannagara damachi haemase. Kannagara damachi haemase. Great God of light, creator and giver of all life, in accordance with your divine will, the long age of night draws to an end. Your radiant divine light, shining ever more brilliantly, awakens the dawn of the glorious age of light, a time long awaited by all humanity. We thank you for guiding us to your divine plan and for the privilege of channeling and receiving Johrei. May our spirits and bodies be illuminated and purified as we lead your truth given to us by Meishu-sama. Make us pure and effective instruments of your divine light, so that we may serve you and all those with whom we come in contact. May paradise on earth be realized, with health, peace, and prosperity a reality in our lives. Great God of light, bless and protect us. Radiate our souls with your divine light, so that we may truly become instruments of your great plan. Please be seated. We will now receive group Johrei.
May God and Meishu-sama bless you.
Concluded. We'll now listen to a reading from Meishu-sama's teachings. World peace. Seeking peace and shunning conflict is the true spirit of harmony. God has implanted this sense of consciousness in all humanity. When all nations are united under one God and work together, the golden age will be a reality. How pathetic are those who thrive on conflict and quarrels. Their spiritual natures are unrefined, still quite primitive and barbaric. In the coming paradise on earth, boundaries between the countries of the world will remain as they are now, but it will seem as if they don't even exist. All countries will deal with each other of equality and friendship, so conflicts over boundaries will become totally unnecessary. Any issues between countries will be peacefully resolved. Their representatives will discuss and deliberate each issue, employing high intelligence and wisdom based on the pure and selfless desire for the highest good of the whole world, with no national or personal ulterior motive. This is the essence of global government in the coming age. In the age of light, there will be far fewer laws than at the present. Laws are not necessary for good, virtuous people. Laws are only necessary to control criminals and evil people. If there will be no criminals and no evil people in the daylight age, naturally, there will be very few laws.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining the morning service of the Miroku Association headquarters. This morning, I want to share with you the faith experience of Mariana Silva Tavares. She's from the Farol Johrei Center, Alagoas, Brazil. Mariana is 11 years old, and since she was conceived, her parents, grandmother, and great-grandmother are Johrei members. With the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic, she began taking her school classes online. After some time, she started to have severe headaches, nausea, tiredness, and irritation in her eyes. Mariana's mother suspected that she might have a problem with her eyesight and took her to an eye doctor, who detected that she had astigmatism and farsightedness and recommended the use of glasses. After that, she started to carry out our basic practice of faith with her mother. She intensified receiving Johrei, reading the divine writings daily, attending our online services, and dedicating at the Johrei Center on Saturdays. Gradually, she was less irritated, her vision improved, and she no longer had headaches and nausea. After a year in July 2021, this year, she went back to the eye doctor. The doctor was surprised, very surprised indeed, and stated that astigmatism and farsightedness were no longer detected in the exam, and he discontinued the use of glasses for her. She couldn't contain her happiness. The toxins that concentrated in her eyes were somehow eliminated. She witnessed the strength of Joy and realized that God was taking care of her all the time. She recognizes that Meishu-sama is utilizing her as an instrument to encourage other young people to carry out the basic practices of our faith. Mariana is very thankful to God and Meishu-sama for the permission to serve the divine work through her faith experience. She is committed to continuing to carry out the basic practices of faith, being more patient, helping her friends whenever possible, and making other people happy, offering them Johrei to contribute to a better world. Very nice experience with Mariana, only 11 years old. And another experience I want to share with you this morning, this one is from Manuela Kasanga from the Kazenga area in Luanda, Angola. Manuela is a member and she gives service as a liturgy as was introduced to our church in 2014 through a Johrei member. The reasons for her being guided were illnesses, marital conflicts, problems within her family and neighborhood, and spiritual manifestations during the night. She used to feel a lot of pain in her back and feet. To solve these problems, she went to hospitals and traditional churches, but she didn't get any improvements. It was in the context of suffering, Manuela, about our church and the miracle through the Johrei practice. At the Johrei Center, she was guided by a missionary to try out our basic practices of faith. She complied with the guidance received without difficulties, and within 3 months, all her problems were overcome. To express her gratitude, she materialized her special donation to receive the Ohikari and became a member to thank God for the permission to serve in this great work of salvation. The experience that she would like to share with us is related to the importance of the enshrinement of ancestors, Sorei Saishi. Before she was introduced to our church, she had already children, but she had some abortions because she thought it would be extremely difficult to raise many children. As a result, she was unable to have a secure marital relationship and had difficulties having proper documentation for herself and her children. One day, she had a dream in which her aborted children showed her where they were living. It was a very dirty and bloody place. One of them was rebellious and told her that she would be a beautiful girl and would be someone prominent in society. This female spirit had even a husband prepared for her in the future. Then she showed Manuela who the young man was. Some other day, she dreamed that her daughter, who departed to the spiritual realm, was among several bodies in a mortuary, and Manuela was fighting a lot to get her daughter out of that place. Manuela prayed to express gratitude for the messages contained in her dream. The next day, she told the minister about her dreams, who guided her to do the Sorei Saishi of the aborted spirits. Thus, she followed through the guidance. A few days later, she noticed that her business, from not showing profits, now began to present dividends. Her daughter, who would not do what she was told, now became cooperative. This daughter had problems assimilating the subjects at school, but now she's able to absorb the subjects better and without feeling obligated, naturally does her homework. It is noteworthy that the father of her children, who since their separation has never been interested in assisting them, now supports them and paid for a professional training course for his first daughter. Manuela began to better understand her mission inside and outside our church. She's putting her best effort into her dedications and fulfilling her mission as an assistant. Excuse me. Around her home, she was not effective in guiding others to our church or talk about matters of faith, especially to her neighbors. With her sister-in-law, who lives in the same property, Manuela didn't have a good relationship. However, after doing the Sorei Saishi, the sister-in-law went to Manuela and shared about the problems she was going through. Manuela took the opportunity to talk to her about our church, the miracles with Johrei, and asked permission to pray with her. After the prayer, she channeled Johrei to her sister-in-law. Thank God she overcame her problems too. She invited another neighbor who was inactive from giving service to be prayed for, and she accepted. Thank God this neighbor is active again. Should be noted that before she was called, Her name was Manuela Domingos Antonio, a name that did not include the names of her lineages. When she started to deal with legal documents for her and her children, she faced many impasses because of that. The city clerk who was handling the case was not showing up in his working place, making matters more difficult. But only after making the Soreisaishi, she was finally allowed to have a birth certificate for her and her children, thus including the names of her family lineages. She learned that the enshrinement of ancestors provides their salvation by God and their spiritual elevation. She is committed to intensifying her dedications, guiding the greatest number of people to the church, channeling Johrei, and making donations properly. By permission of the Supreme God and Meishu-sama, she has a home garden and is giving assistance to 5 people. Manuela is very Meishu-sama and her ancestors for the protection she receives in her life on a daily basis, and to everyone who directly or indirectly has contributed to her spiritual growth. Thank you very much for listening to this wonderful faith experience this morning. I wish you a wonderful day. Thank you.
This brings to a conclusion of our morning service. Thank you everyone for joining us and have a blessed day.